Good morning. We're here with Brook Dobbin and we're going to discuss his recent trip down to the New Zealand Horse of the Year show. Brook, what made you decide to go down to that show in the first place and everything you had to do to get there?
We went to the show over there last year and it's just such an enormous show with such great competitors that we decided to go again this year. It's the biggest horse show in the Southern Hemisphere. It also has the biggest money in the Asia Pacific League for our show jumping competitions. So you go over there to compete and get a judgment on how you're going against the best horses that we have in the Asia Pacific.
Okay, and you went down there as an individual and I believe there was a slight change of plans, so can you let us know about that?
Yeah, look, we went last year as part of the Australian team and I was the highest placed Australian team member in the class last year. We won the Trans-Tasman trip against New Zealand last year. This year I did apply for the team again but didn't make team selection, so we decided to go as an individual because we believe we could still do just as well, if not better. And look, when we got there, due to different circumstances, they asked me to be involved in the team and I was actually the highest placed Australian rider again in the teams class.
And the horses are having a lot of fun with Brook's interview here. So how did you end up, which horse did you ride and how did you end up overall?
I took Advisor, which is my wife's and I warm blood horse that we purchased about 3 years ago. Our first class, the Norwood Gold Cup, which was the warm-up class for the show, 1:45 class. We just had a time fault. I rode a little bit slow and jumped clean round but didn't make the jump off, but that's okay. Friday night was the Silver Fern Stakes, which is our Nations Cup, metre 50 class first round. We ended up overall second in the class, but the Australian team won the Trans-Tasman trophy in that class. And then we had the metre 60 Grand Prix, the Bell Olympic Cup on the Sunday. Again, I ended up second in that to Katie McVean on 4 faults over the 2 rounds. So yeah, overall we had a very amazing trip. The horse is certainly back to himself and going very well.
And Katie McVean, I was lucky enough to be down at Horse of the Year this year. Katie McVean had an awesome show. She's just amazing over the jumps. What makes her just so special with a horse? She just looks sensational. Yeah,
look, I don't know. Katie is just one of those riders that just does everything right. It's just so natural to her. She has some very nice horses that they've bred and imported, but look, her raw talent and the way she rides is just what we all hope to be able to do, but only, I don't know if we've ever actually achieved to get there, but she's just such a natural that her father, who competed for Australia in the Olympics and overseas for years, was exactly the same, so maybe it's just something to do with the genetics.
Yeah, she looks very stylish over a jump. So what would be your favourite horse at the moment in your stables?
Look, the horse I took to New Zealand, Advisor, would have to be the most favourite horse. He's won in the last 2 years. He's won the Pacific League World Cup Tour. He was leading horse in the country. He's been on the Australian team twice and won the trophy twice. Yeah, he'd have to be my favourite horse. There are some younger ones that we hold potential, that have potential that we hold hope for. But look, until they're there and proving what they are and doing that sort of show and showing they can hold their own, yeah, you just don't know where they're going to go.
So what is your preparation that's involved for actually travelling a horse on a plane? I would say that you would have to do a fair bit of thought before that actually happens. What's the rigmarole that goes through with that?
Yeah, look, it's very surprising how well they travel on the plane. It is more like just a large float that they pack on the plane. So the horses that we're travelling overseas have generally done that many kilometres here in Australia in the back of trucks and floats that they do handle it very well. You do have to make sure that we get the vets in and generally give them an electrolyte drench the day they're travelling. And at my sponsors, Kentucky Equine Research, they supply us with feed additives and like Nalox and different tying up products and that sort of thing to help compensate any nerves that the horse may come across or any dehydration. So yeah, it all very much depends on what you're feeding and how you're feeding. But the horses do travel very well. They don't tend to get so stressed. So
That sounds fantastic. So you're a coach as well as a rider. Which role do you enjoy more and for what reasons?
Look, I do obviously love my riding more than coaching, but it does give you a thrill when you can see students winning big classes. One of the young riders I currently teach won the Victorian titles in December. And she's come a long way in 12 months. So when riders can progress so quickly and do very well, it is good. And unfortunately, although teaching might not be my passion, it does help me pay to go to shows so I can do what I love doing.
That's good. Now, what are your goals? I know you're heading off to Sydney in 2 weeks. Your horses have just, I think, landed back from New Zealand yesterday. So Sydney's a big one for you? Yeah, look,
Sydney's the first of our World Cup series for the next year. Sydney's also renowned as probably the biggest show we have all year, prestige and size of jumps too. Yeah, look, we're going to stay here in the country for the rest of the year. We did have plans originally of going over to Europe this year with Advisor. We had a couple of muscle problems, a couple of soreness problems in the middle of the year last year, and the horse lost a bit of confidence and went off a little bit. So it sort of put us a number of months behind, and with the cost of going overseas, we decided it wasn't worth pressing that point this year. So hopefully we'll do very well in the World Cup Series again, so we're enabled to go to Europe next year to see how we can go.
Well, hopefully we'll catch up with you at Sydney Royal, and good luck for your show here. And that's wrapping it for Top Horse out with Brook Dobbin. Thank you very much.
Thank you.